This narcissist will disgust you. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Narcissists are invariably problematic, and my work extensively details the various manipulations and the impact of those manipulations on people. There are some instances where the narcissist doesn't actually have a direct engagement with you, but nevertheless their behaviour causes you to wrinkle your nose, possibly go, ew, or express your disgust at the way that they conduct themselves. And this narcissist that I'm going to tell you about now will undoubtedly cause many of you to have a reaction of disgust in relation to her behaviours. As you know, my groundbreaking work divides narcissists into schools and cadres. Different schools, so you understand more about the similarities and differences in the behaviour, and cadres in relation to preference. Here, we have got a shining example of a somatic narcissist. Somatic narcissists are the most common cadre. Somatic narcissists are the ones that have an interest in a variety of things which confirm their somaticism. Now remember, not every somatic narcissist will have all of these preferences. They will have some may be missing, some are stronger than others. But the somatic narcissist, for example, is motivated by things relating to sex and appearance. They're often good looking, or think that they're good looking, or were once good looking and remain of the belief that they are. They're body conscious. They're invariably clean and well groomed. They will have a preoccupation with money. Either they'll have a lot of it and they want to keep it, or they'll have a lot of it and they like to exercise financial largesse by showing off with that money, or they don't have any and they want to get some, or they're very good at using other people's money. They may well be a gym bunny. They often have lots of friends of the opposite sex. They're a slave to social media, plastering it with all of their behaviours, the places that they go. They have expensive tastes. They like to be seen in the trendy places. They may well be somebody that regularly sends nude pictures or wants nude pictures. They like to be seen dining out, attending prestigious events. They're often hypersexualized, engaging in plenty of making the beast with two backs. There's nothing they love more than taking a roll in the hay or ensuring that they engage in some horizontal refreshment as they seek to jump your bones. The individual may well be interested in travel. They want to look good. They may have an extensive wardrobe of clothes, lots of potions and lotions. Those are just some of the main factors of the somatic narcissist. And one of the big factors of the somatic narcissist is a keen interest in engaging in some funny business, by which I mean sex. This type of individual enjoys glazing the donut. They're always up for a game of hide the sausage. They're a man, they want to give you a hot beef injection. They want to ensure that you toast the bagel, that you board the beef bus. They have a preoccupation with stuff in the muffin. It's important for them to have a carnal embrace with you and hide the bishop. Not every somatic narcissist will necessarily have a preoccupation with sex, but many do. They're hypersexualized because sex is a brilliant, brilliant way of asserting control over people, drawing fuel, and gaining residual benefits. Orgasms galore, the pleasure principle that arises from pumping fur or sharpening the pencil, is a residual benefit. In some instances, the narcissist may well use sex to generate an income, for example through prostitution as they go on tunnel patrol. Or they might have an OnlyFans account, which is increasingly the case for a number of individuals, which includes many narcissists. Thus, the somatic narcissist is often hypersexualized, or if not hypersexualized, they still enjoy a lot of sex. And often they're pretty proficient at it because of a lot of practice and a wide variety of intimate partners. This narcissist a somatic narcissist, is hypersexualized. As a consequence of what could only be described as a voracious sexual appetite which underpins her narcissism, it's clear that she is a somatic narcissist. Who am I talking about? Well, it's a woman who goes by the name of Bonnie Blue. That's her on your screen. Some of you may be thinking, never heard of her. Some of you may recognise her or recognise her name. Let me flesh out matters in relation to this individual who's very much of the flesh, someone who regularly allows her punani pavement to be pounded. Bonnie Blue is a porn star, but she's also described as an OnlyFans sensation. The Hindustan Times reports, OnlyFans sensation Bonnie Blue is making headlines once again, this time for her wild sexual escapades during spring break. The 24-year-old British native, now residing in Australia, caused a stir after admitting to engaging in sexual encounters with over 120 college students in just 3 weeks. Now, you may well be imagining, goodness me, after all of that, it'd be like throwing a hot dog down an alleyway. Who on earth would want to be stirring the porridge? But of course, getting all of those horny teens, not only does she assert control over them by having sex with them, not only does she draw fuel from them, and large amounts of fuel, because the sexual act provides huge amounts, while she's engaging in sexual activity, while she's riding the Boney Express and having her gates of Mordor opened, while she's engaging in the bedroom rodeo and doing the nasty, she's receiving massive amounts of fuel. Why? Because the man that she's with, as they're christening the yak and digging up the sand crab, is making all manner of noise, which she has precipitated. His oohs, his ahs, yeah, take it, as he's waxing ass and taking one eye to the optometrist, is such that she receives a huge amount of fuel from this particular individual. And then as she does the horizontal tango, there's another one. And she bump uglies with the next man. And then somebody else comes along to conquer the Pink Fortress. And then somebody else comes along to engage in two-person push-ups. And then another person comes along to engage in a bit of assault with a friendly weapon. There's some parallel parking takes place. The crushing buns and dipping the wick. As somebody gets balls deep in her and explores the hidden valley, they provide her with huge amounts of fuel. Admittedly, they're tertiary sources, so the potency isn't high. But if she has slept with that number of individuals in that short space of time, she's received a huge amount of fuel, along with the residual benefit of deriving pleasure from all of that. Moreover, venturing to Mexico to collaborate with students, she disclosed that her exploits actually bagged her approximately $250,000 in just 21 days. She said, "The college students enjoyed spring break, but I gave them one to remember." Grandiosity. Many spring breakers actually called it a bonding experience. They enjoyed every second of it, as did I. She said her spring escapade was an incredible success for both herself and the college dwellers, many of whom purportedly viewed the experience as a bonding opportunity. Despite receiving backlash, challenge fuel for her approach, particularly following a similar stunt during Schooley's week down under, Bonnie remains steadfast, stubbornness, in her belief that her actions are mutually beneficial. "We will never create content without organising proper consent first." In other words, the guys who expressed interest needed to prove legal evidence they are over 18 years old and were made aware that the content is for our OnlyFans accounts, she asserted. So what she's doing is, like any narcissist, exploiting people. Whilst she, of course, allows them to know and ensures that they provide consent, so she's ensuring that it's legal, but she's basically doing it so that she can exploit them. She exploits them in terms of control. She exploits them in terms of fuel, although she doesn't recognise that because she's an unaware narcissist. She exploits them for pleasure. She exploits them monetarily. She explained many students on vacation will expect to get laid on spring break. I think having women in the mix who are up for it and don't need any convincing is positive for the women on vacation who don't want to be pestered by young men. So she's actually, ladies, doing you a public service. Because while she's ending up with a wizard sleeve of a vagina and soggy saddlebags, that's because she's actually ensuring that you don't get pestered. Isn't that good of her? She explains that those people just want to be left alone to chill with their friends. She defended her actions, saying, while the benefit for the young men themselves is that they are guaranteed to have positive and enjoyable experiences with us, because we know what we are doing and how to please a guy. She revealed plans to replicate her exploits during Freshers' Week in the UK, joined by fellow OnlyFans star Leilani May, who apparently was there in Mexico with her. Both of them stated, we're excited to have been able to draw attention to making realistic and relatable content with real people. We're looking forward to continuing this style of adult content and taking it to Spring Break, US and Freshers' Week, UK. So basically, she's wandering around with her welly top, engaging in sex with young men. Now, there'll be some that will say, it's her body, she can do with it what she likes. Absolutely true. But what she's doing is, of course, she's not engaging in this behaviour quietly. Not only is she having a lot of sex for the reasons that I've already explained, but she needs to advertise the fact that she's been doing this. She's actually proud of what she's doing. She wants people to know about it because she also thrives on people's reaction to it. She absolutely craves, subconsciously, a reaction from people to her behaviour. She wants them to respond to what she says. She wants the men to say, good on you. She wants the women to be envious of her. Because in her mind, when someone expresses disgust about her behaviour, that they talk about the fact that her area below is like a high school play curtain and a Cleveland side slapper, she will just regard it as them being envious. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If you were as good looking as me, you'd have done it. You're only envious because I've made shitloads of money out of this and you haven't. You're only envious because I'm hot and all these men want to fuck me. You wish you could do it. And that's why you're complaining. That's what her narcissism tells her. That's what her narcissism does to justify her supposed superiority. She's reported on by news.com.au. A popular porn star who went viral for sleeping with hordes of teenage boys during schoolies has sparked fresh outrage after her latest sex stunt saw men queuing for over 8 hours. Bonnie Blue, a self-proclaimed high-class escort, delusion, living on the Gold Coast, made waves last year after she slept with over 122 barely legal college boys in the Mexican city of Cancun during spring break. A few months later, she said she slept with almost as many boys on the Gold Coast during schoolies celebrations. So what you'll notice here is that this woman who is some 5-6 years older than the men that she's sleeping with isn't doing anything unlawful, but what she is doing is exploiting a degree of immaturity and naivety on the part of these individuals. They don't care. They're getting some hole. But there is exploitation. And the fact that she does this to the extent that she does and freely wants the world to know about it shows that she suffers no shame or embarrassment. Now, there will be some who will say, why should she be ashamed? She's a decent-looking woman. If she wants a lot of sex, she could do so. Yes. But it rather misses the point that her lack of embarrassment is because of her narcissism. Her pride in all of this is because of her narcissism. Her need to do it in the first place and her need to publicise it is driven by her narcissism. If she was that cock-hungry, she could just get on with it and not publicise it. But the fact is, she revels in telling the world about it because her narcissism demands that she does so, because she wants to get fuel by way of people's reactions to her talking about it. She also, of course, wants to publicise what she's doing to get more men to come forward. And for her, It's a residual benefit because it's a business. Now the OnlyFans creator, who claims she's earned millions from filming the explicit content, lack of boundary recognition, residual benefit, has ruffled feathers again after flying to the United Kingdom during Freshers' Week and inviting new university students to pay her a visit. Despite raking in a fresh wad of cash, residual benefit, after allegedly sleeping with 158 students in 2 weeks, she was slammed after a call-out for 18-year-olds on social media resulted in an influx of blokes turning up with hopes of participating. I'd shared my location online. I was like, this is where I'm going to be, let me pleasure you. And there was a massive queue, boast, that went all the way around the corner with boys waiting for over 8 hours, she explained. After sharing a video of the snaking line of men's feet, grandiosity, publication, her antics, which she films and puts behind a paywall for subscribers, residual benefit, some labelled the queue of men gross and disgusting. She also revealed her sextant took a dangerous turn towards the end of the evening, after one man seized an opportunity to rob her. I'd been going from 4 p.m, and at gone 12 o'clock at night, she's got some stamina, it has to be said, I said to everyone left that we're all going at once, otherwise you'll all have to go home, Bonnie explained. But having that many people at the room at the same time was like intimidating. I'm just there by myself, naked, and they did steal things after they left. She's not intimidated by it at all. This is an after-the-event pity play that she's issuing. She loves the attention. The controversial porn star said one man took her phone and attempted to blackmail her over the X-rated content on it, which she described as so disrespectful. I'd also describe it as rather idiotic, because first of all, a hypersexualised, putting it all out there, somatic narcissist as she is, isn't going to be blackmailed by X-rated content. After all, she quite readily tells the world what she does, that she gets fucked by hundreds of men. I couldn't believe it. I'd invited them over to my place. I'd been lovely to them, but some people are just scumbags. She concluded by stating that her newfound wealth had made her a target, conceding she wasn't going to let it get in the way of her lucrative career. I'll always be a target for the scum. It could have been a lot worse, so I'm not really bothered about it, she said. Dismissiveness. Notice as well that she's essentially referring to some of those people that she has sex with as scum. I'm just more annoyed at myself for forgetting not everyone is nice, because of course she's a paragon of virtue. I've thought about reporting it, but haven't as of yet. I don't want it to slow down my uni student fun and let one bad experience ruin it. Which tells you it doesn't concern her really. She's just putting it out there for the purposes of triangulation and being thirsty for that fuel. Bonnie Blue, a clear somatic narcissist, and not one that really operates with a facade either. She puts it all out there, tells you about what she does, doesn't see that there's anything wrong with such behaviour. And, of course, there will be those that will say, well, if she wants to have sex with a lot of people, that's her right. And indeed it is. But what you must understand is that what drives her to do this is her narcissism. What drives her to take money for showing off that she has sex with all of these people is her narcissism. What drives her to shout out to the world that she's really good in bed and that she's hot and that she has sex with all of these people is her narcissism. That is what is behind it. There are many people who don't realise this. And you'll get another opportunity to understand more about this narcissist and her behaviour in a piece of footage in a forthcoming video, which I break down for you. Thus, this is Bonnie Blue, a clear narcissist, a clear somatic narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.